Thank you, Mr. President. You know, the last time we looked at problem gambling was in 2005. In fact, I was chairing the committee when we did this, and we did put in play a small amount of money to basically address the issues of problem gambling associated with the gambling issues of that day. But we've had two decades of expansion of gambling in our state. And today it's a $4 billion industry and basically a major employer in many of our communities. Gambling is a big industry now. And for that reason, we initiated a task force on problem gambling several years ago. And several of us, myself included, spent endless hours with that task force working on the issue of updating our problem gambling services in this state. This included looking at how many counselors we had, looking at how we can pay for that. This is a behavioral health issue of our communities, and it deserved a very comprehensive look, and that's what happened. Spent endless hours working on this. The bill before you really doesn't do much more than implement a couple of proposals from that comprehensive work group, and I'd encourage all of you to look at that task force report because it's very broad, looking at, for example, how we might be able to ask the federal government to help us use Medicaid dollars to address the issues of problem gambling and not just the industry itself. So it's a major work went on this bill, on this task force. And again, I urge you to look at it. The two issues that are in this bill, really, one of them is increasing the funding from its level in 2005 to a level of 2%, which basically I should point out, is a level that many of our tribes have already agreed to in their compacts. Eventually, in several years, we want to move that up to 2.6 to address what has been part of the prevalence study that this legislature endorsed, pointed out that we are spending about half the dollars we should be to address this behavioral problem of problem gambling. So this bill implements those new taxes on gambling institutions, and it basically also establishes a work group to look and see where we are at in implementing the recommendations of this task force. So often task force do their work and then they disappear. This includes a work group to evaluate where we are in terms of meeting the goals of the task force report. So I urge this acceptance of this bill today. Thank you.